cheap Mercedes V8 can be the best-looking bargain on the street, or a luxury car with 5 systems waiting for one missed service. In this guide, we will screen 5 V8s by one rule: what must be healthy before the price makes sense. We will cover the W220 S500, R230 SL500, W211 E500, W221 S500, and C216 CL500. This is not a claim that every example fails. It is a buying filter. See it cold, scan every module, verify the VIN, and let the records, not the badge, set the decision. V8 bargain is not only an engine decision. It is a decision about the transmission, cooling system, brakes, suspension, electronics, tires, and the previous owner's maintenance habits. A luxury car can still drive smoothly while a stored fault, a tired battery, a leaking hydraulic system, or an overdue service is waiting underneath. Start with the exact model year and engine code, because the same badge can cover different hardware, and price the inspection before you price the car. A scan should read the engine, transmission, restraint, brake, suspension, body, and comfort modules. A lift inspection should look for leaks, corrosion, tire wear, previous impact repair, and fluid stains. Check the date codes on the battery and tires, because a car that has been parked can hide age in parts that still look clean. If the seller will not allow a cold start or an independent scan, the discount is not compensation, it is information. A clean interior is useful, but it is not a mechanical warranty. The first question is always what the vehicle can prove today. W220 S500 is the classic temptation, a full-size flagship with a V8, quiet road manners, and an interior that can still feel special for a small fraction of its original price. Mercedes-Benz's archive identifies the 220 series as the S-Class introduced in 1998, and its later archive records the S500 as a major production model. That history explains the appeal, not the condition of a particular car. Inspect the suspension specification, steering, cooling, air conditioning, seat functions, trunk hardware, and battery voltage. Check the underside for old fluid residue that has been cleaned away, and ask whether the car was stored outside or driven daily. Run a full scan before codes are cleared, then compare the report with invoices. Pay attention to warning messages that disappear after a restart. The correct question is not whether a W220 can be reliable. It is whether this one has evidence that its expensive systems have been maintained. A low odometer reading does not replace a service timeline. A W220 do not accept a warm demonstration in a short neighborhood drive. See the car after it has sat. Check ride height, tire wear, steering feel, braking, cooling temperature, and every seat, climate, window, and display function. Listen for pumps or compressors that run too often, and look for fluid traces under the front and rear of the car. Ask the specialist to record the battery voltage at rest and while starting, because low voltage can complicate a scan. Save the scan report with the VIN and date so a seller cannot simply clear it before your next visit. If the vehicle needs several unrelated explanations, one warning is the battery, another is a sensor, and the suspension is just low because it sat, treat the pattern as the inspection result. A specialist can separate a stored historic code from an active fault. A bargain buyer should never have to guess which one it is. The R230 SL500 looks like a sports car bargain because the body still has presence, and the V8 gives it effortless speed. Mercedes-Benz introduced the 230 series SL Roadster in 2001 with extensive electronic chassis and comfort equipment, and the official archive lists the SL500 among its V8 versions. That equipment is why the inspection must include more than the engine. Test the roof cycle only with the correct procedure. Look for hydraulic or water leaks. Check the battery and charging voltage, and scan the body, roof, suspension, and restraint modules. Inspect tires and brakes for age, not just tread, and check the trunk for dampness after the roof demonstration. A seller may describe a roof that works most of the time as a small inconvenience. On an SL, intermittent operation is a repair clue. Do not buy the shape until the mechanisms have been demonstrated and documented. Ask for a second cycle after the road test. An R230 inspection needs a repeatable demonstration. Operate the roof from a fully charged battery, watch for hesitation or unusual pump noise, and inspect the trunk and cabin for water entry. Test the suspension through its normal positions if fitted, then scan for faults that a dashboard light may not show. Check the transmission engagement, steering, cooling fans, air conditioning, parking sensors, and every window. Take the car on a road that reveals vibration, braking pull, tire noise, and transmission behavior at operating temperature. The road test is not a thrill ride. It is a controlled handoff between the scan report and the physical car. If the seller says a feature only needs a reset, Ask for the underlying code and repair invoice. A reset is not a repair history. W211 E500 is often the most rational V8 on this list, a useful sedan, a proven platform, and enough performance without the full-size footprint of an S-Class. Mercedes-Benz's archive says the 211 series launched in 2002 and identifies the E500 as its 8-cylinder lead model at launch. That does not eliminate age-related risk. Check the braking system, suspension bushings, cooling system, transmission service, oil leaks, and the condition of every electrical accessory. Inspect the trunk and spare wheel area for moisture, then verify that the steering, windows, climate controls, and instrument display all operate without flicker. Ask for the exact service interval records, not a single recent oil change receipt. NHTSA records show that even a defined campaign can involve a limited production population, which is why a VIN-check matters more than an online list. A good E500 is bought through records and inspection. A cheap E500 with missing records is only cheap before the first serious test. W221 S500 moved the S-Class into a newer generation with more driver assistance, more comfort electronics, and a modern V8. Mercedes-Benz's official archive describes the 221 series as launching in 2005 and lists the S500 with the M273 V8, advanced assistance, and active suspension equipment. Those systems are the value proposition, though they are also the inspection list. Confirm the battery and charging health, scan every control unit, test cameras, seats, climate screens, keyless functions, and driver assistance warnings, then inspect the suspension and brakes on a lift. Check the trunk battery and the condition of the key fobs, because a low-voltage event can create confusing symptoms. Ask whether the car has been parked for long periods and whether the service file follows the car across owners. A newer dashboard can hide an older maintenance gap. Do not confuse more technology with less risk. It means more evidence is required before the price is credible. Our number one is the C216 CL500, an S-Class coupe with the V8, luxury equipment, and active chassis technology that made it feel special when new. Mercedes-Benz's archive describes the 216 series as a 2006 luxury coupe with a 5.5-liter V8 and active body control. A cheap CL is therefore a complete systems inspection, not a paint and leather inspection. Check the suspension for leaks and correct height, verify the hydraulic service history, test the sunroof and glass functions, inspect the brakes and tires, and scan the restraint, comfort, body, and drivetrain modules. Look for uneven ride height after the car sits, and ask when the hydraulic fluid was last documented. Confirm that the cooling system reaches temperature without warning messages. The correct CL500 can be a spectacular grand tourer. The wrong one can turn a low purchase price into a long queue of specialist appointments. Buy the evidence before the elegance, and never let the quiet cabin hide the maintenance file. Recall or campaign is not a rumor, and it is not a verdict on every car wearing the same badge. It is a documented condition with a defined population and a remedy. NHTSA recall material repeatedly tells owners to check the specific vehicle, and its records include Mercedes models across different years and systems. Use the 17-character VIN to check NHTSA and the manufacturer's records. Confirm that the campaign applies, that the remedy was completed, and that the paperwork matches the exact car. Ask for the repair order, not only a seller's screenshot. Do the same with service campaigns and software updates when a specialist has access to them. A seller who says the vehicle is fine because the warning light is off is answering a different question. You are buying a VIN, an engine, a history, and a set of stored decisions, not a generic model name. Save this 6-step process before you visit any cheap Mercedes V8. First, see it cold and measure starting and charging voltage. Second, walk around it before driving. Tire dates, ride height, fluid traces, body gaps, glass, and water entry. Third, scan every module and save the report before codes are cleared. Fourth, test every expensive feature: suspension, roof or sunroof, seats, climate, cameras, parking sensors, and infotainment. Fifth, drive until the car is hot, then repeat the checks and look for leaks or warning messages. Sixth, put it on a lift and request a written priority list. Safety now, reliability soon, cosmetics later. Record the VIN on every page so a generic inspection cannot be mixed with another car. The report should separate confirmed faults from items that need monitoring. If the seller will not allow this process, your best inspection result is to walk away. W220 S500 gives you flagship comfort. The R230 SL500 gives you open-air drama. The W211 E500 gives you the most usable sedan package. The W221 S500 gives you newer technology. And the C216 CL500 gives you grand touring presence. None is automatically a mistake. None is automatically a bargain. Winning purchase is the one with a cold start, a saved full module scan, a lift inspection, VIN-verified campaigns, and invoices that explain the last major work. Price the first-year reserve before you negotiate, and leave room for unknowns that the inspection cannot see. A cheap V8 should make sense after the specialist report, not before it. If the seller refuses the evidence, keep your money and keep searching.